Let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. All right. 40 Laws of Power, man. Very good book. A lot of people, here's the thing about the 40 Laws of People. A lot of people will place an interpretation on this as a very manipulative book, right? They'll place on it very manipulative, very, dishonest and things like that. But that's all their interpretation, right? You can use it to better yourself at the end of the day. That's what it's for, right? Because let me see if I can figure this out, right? Let me see if I can find it real quick. He literally states this, I think, in the introduction, right? He literally says this in the beginning. Preface. Right. Mm-mm.
So I still think the strip idea is
All right. Here he goes. Right. All right. 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Right. Everybody should know this book. It's like everybody's damn near go-to book. Right. It's a good book, honestly. Right. To some people. To some people. Okay.
don't like the concept.
To some people, the notion of consciously playing power games, no matter how indirect, seems evil, asocial, and a relic of the past. They believe they can opt out of the game by behaving in ways that have nothing to do with power. You must beware of such people, for while they express such opinions outwardly, they are often among the most adept players at power. They utilize strategies that cleverly disguise the nature of the manipulation involved. These types, for example, will often display their weakness and a lack of power as a kind of moral virtue. But true powerlessness without any motive of self-interest would not publicize its weakness to gain sympathy or respect. Making a show of one's weakness is actually a very effective strategy, subtle and deceptive in the game of power. Another strategy of the supposed non-player is to demand equality in every area of life. Everyone must be treated alike, whatever their status and strength. But if, to avoid the taint of power, you attempt to treat everyone equally and fairly, you will confront the problem that some people do certain things better than others. Treating everyone equally means ignoring their differences, elevating the less successful and suppressing those who excel. Again, many of those who behave this way are actually deploying another power strategy, redistributing people's rewards in a way that they determine. All right?
You might have to say just so I know.
Learning the game of power requires a certain way of looking at the world, a shifting of perspective. It takes effort and years of practice, for much of the game may not come naturally. Certain basic skills are required, and once you master these skills, you will be able to apply the laws of power more easily. The most important of these skills, and power's crucial foundation, is the ability to master your emotions.
I'm waiting.
An emotional response to a situation is the single greatest barrier to power. A mistake that will cost you a lot more than any temporary satisfaction you might get by expressing your feelings. Emotions cloud reason, and if you cannot see the situation clearly, you cannot prepare for and respond to it with any degree of control. I think that's pretty simple to understand, right? Emotional intelligence is key in terms of power, right? In terms of bettering yourself, you have to be willing to master your emotions. You have to understand that we were talking about this early on stream. You are not your emotions. You are the awareness behind those emotions, the consciousness behind those emotions, right? You have the choice whether or not to let those emotions control you. You have the choice, right? Anger is the most destructive of emotional responses, for it clouds your vision the most. It also has a ripple effect that invariably makes situations less controllable and heightens your enemy's resolve. If you're trying to destroy an enemy who has hurt you, far better off to keep him off guard by feigning friendliness than showing your anger, right? Related to mastering your emotions is the ability to distance yourself from the present moment and think objectively about the past and future. Like Janus, the double-faced ruined deity and guardian of all gates and doorways, you must be able to look in both directions at once to better handle from danger wherever it comes from. Such is the face you must create for yourself. One face looking continually to the future and the other to the past, learning from the past and applying that so your future can be better, if that makes sense. For the future, the motto, no days unalert. I've been saying this to myself for the past like 2.5 months. No days on alert. And it grounds me and it puts me back in that focused state, right? Nothing should catch you by surprise because you're constantly imagining problems before they arise. Instead of spending your time dreaming of your plan's happy ending, you must work on calculating every possible permutation and pitfall that might emerge in it. The further you see, the more steps ahead you plan, the more powerful you become. Right? Power requires the ability to play with appearances. To this end, you must learn to wear many masks and keep a bag full of deceptive tricks. Deception and masquerade should not be seen as ugly or immoral. All human interaction requires deception at many levels. And in some ways, what separates humans from animals is our ability to lie and deceive. In Greek myths, let me skip that. You cannot succeed at deception unless you take a somewhat distant approach to yourself. Unless you can be many different people wearing the mask that the day and the moment require. With such a flexible approach to all appearances, including your own, you lose a lot of the inward heaviness that holds people down. Make your face as malleable as the actors, work to conceal your intentions from others, practice luring people into traps. Playing with appearances and mastering arts of deception are among the aesthetic pleasures of life. They are also key components in the acquisition of power. The power is essentially amoral, and one of the most important skills to acquire is the ability to see circumstances rather than good or evil. Boom, right there, right? Now we're talking about seeing things as they simply are and not placing your perception of them being good or evil, heaven or hell. See what I'm saying? And that comes from that third level. Seeing things as being they simply are. Makes sense? Accept it for what it is. And now you can translate that into stoicism. You see how that works? Right? Because stoicism allows you to not place a perspective, like a biased perspective on exactly no filter, no conscience. Well, I would say no conscience because you're consciously aware, right? You're choosing to not make this thing good or evil, black or white, heaven or hell. It simply is, right? And it's on you, right, to be so aware of that decision, right? And not allow yourself to place an identity on that thought, right? You've heard him talk about it. Not placing an identity on that thought. Once you identify with the thought has control, right? Power is a game. This cannot be repeated too often. And in games, you do not judge your opponents by intentions, but the effect of their actions. You measure their strategy and their power by what you can see and feel. How often are someone's intentions made the issue only to cloud and deceive, right? What does matter if another player, your friend or rival, intended good things and had only your interests at heart, if the effects of this action lead to so much ruin and confusion? It is only natural for people to cover up their actions with all kinds of justifications, always assuming that they have acted out of goodness. Think about this, right? Everybody, and this is where you get to understand why serial killers are serial killers and rapists are rapists. And this is for educational purposes, Twitch, right? Because you right, you understand why snakes are snakes, right? Why people do what they do, right? It's only natural for people to cover up because they're able to have a proper justification in their mind, and they choose to allow themselves to align with that thought, right? And I'm just gonna break down how this applies to my life and how I move forward with this in my everyday environment, right? It is only natural for people to cover up their actions with all kinds of justifications, always assuming that they have acted out of goodness. You must learn to inwardly laugh each time you hear this and never get caught up engaging someone's intentions and actions through a set of moral judgments that are really an excuse for an accumulation of power. So when somebody does bad by you, you just laugh. I see what you did there. Well played. Part 2 of Inside the Mind of McLavishh in the building. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is a game. Your opponents sit opposite you. Both of you behave as gentlemen or ladies, observing the rules of the game and taking nothing personally, right? You play with the strategy and you observe your opponent's moves with as much calmness as you can muster. And that goes into that emotional intelligence, right? In the end, you appreciate the politeness of those you are playing with more than their good and sweet intentions. Train your eye to follow the results of their moves, the outward circumstances, and do not be distracted by anything else. Half of your mastery power comes from what you do not do, what you do not allow yourself to get dragged into. Let's stop right there. What I do not allow myself to get dragged into, right? You remember that conversation we was talking about them doing that sus shit, right? I simply see it. Do I involve myself in it? No. Why? Because if I let myself inside of that, I'm no better than them, right? I'm not saying I'm better than anybody, but when it comes to these laws of power, you have to be willing to see the scenario and apply them naturally. Something about this doesn't feel right. Then that's me following my intuition. All that, no. I'm good. Y'all can have that. Let them be as they are. All right? And that's me making the mental choice that this simply is, and I'm not going to allow it to affect me. All right? All right. It's both. Is that intuition for you or intelligence? It's both. Intelligent from my past experiences and my intuition just aligning. All right? There's something I just don't, because I know myself, right? And knowing yourself, you trust your intuition, right? And with that, the intuition is, yeah, I'm not rocking with that. And my intelligence goes, yeah, I don't think that's right for you. And I just sit back and I just go, okay, all right, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's keep going. Power is a social game. To learn and master it, you must develop the ability to study. What? Yes. Yeah, put it together in one situation. Yeah, exactly. Power is a social game. To learn and master it, you must develop the ability to study and understand people. All right? You must recognize motivations and see through the cloud of dust with which people surround their actions. An understanding of people's hidden motives is the single greatest piece of knowledge you can have in acquiring power. Let me read that again. An understanding of people's hidden motives is the single greatest piece of knowledge you can have in acquiring power. It opens up endless possibilities of deception, seduction, and manipulation. People are of infinite complexity, and you can spend a lifetime watching them without ever fully understanding them.
Are you sure? What makes you so certain that I was freshman here and not sophomore?
Run that back. All right. That flew over my head. All right. I'm gonna explain it in my words. You must recognize motivations and see through the cloud of dust with which people surround their actions, right? All the falseness, like people will tell you, yeah, I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. And then they do the actual opposite, right? The results speak for themselves. And when this is like when you're talking to somebody, right? This is when people are talking to you, right? And you can just see through the lies. right? You just tell because their actions don't follow up, right? Make sense? As I keep going, an understanding of people's hidden motives is the single most greatest piece of knowledge you can have in acquiring power, because now you know how to read them. Now you know how to read them. And once you know how to read somebody, well, you can't fully read them, but you know their motives. And once you know their motives, they can't pull anything off on you, right? Finally, you must learn always to take the indirect. It's checkmate. Exactly. Finally, you must learn to always take the indirect route to power. Don't just force yourself, right? That just puts you on a bullseye, a target, right? Be subtle about it. I like to say it like this: let nature play its course. Continue to push yourself to be a better version of yourself every single day, and just simply let nature play its course. Eventually, it'll wind up in it's your time to play. It's your position of power, right? Finally, you must learn to take an indirect route like a billboard with caroms several times before it hits its target. Your moves must be planned and developed in the least obvious way. By training yourself to be indirect, you can thrive in the modern court, appearing the paragon of decency while being the consummate manipulator. All right?
What?
All right. So, all right. Finally, the book can be browsed through and picked apart for entertainment, for an enjoyable ride through the foibles and great deeds of our predecessors in power. A warning, however, to those who use the book for this purpose: it might be better to turn back. Power is endlessly seductive and deceptive in its own way. It is a labyrinth. Your mind becomes consumed with solving its infinite problems, and you soon realize how pleasantly lost you've become. In other words, it becomes almost amusing by taking it seriously. Don't be frivolous with such a critical matter. The gods of power frown on the frivolous. They give ultimate satisfaction only to those who study and reflect, and punish those who skim the surfaces looking for a good time. Right? And he's giving you a warning, because now, right? Now you're understanding, just like this is just the surface level of it. Right? This is just the surface level. So now let's talk about law number 1, and we're going to go into law number 2, right? And how I apply both. Exactly. This is not for people who want to simply manipulate others in a way of, just manipulating people. This is for people who want to be successful in life and want to use whatever they can in their advantage, while not harming others, but playing the game and understanding the game and the rules that come with it. Right? Law number 1: never outshine the master. And I'm not even going to read the book. I'm just literally going to tell you how I apply this, right? Right? I'm going to tell you exactly how I apply this in life, right? And it's perfect for me because, when I step out of this door, right? The moment I step out of this door, I call it my mental training ground. What have I learned that I can apply into the real world scenario? Law number 1: never outshine your masters. Give them the praise, give them the worship. Hey, but this is the guy, right? This is the guy right here. Whoever is your superior, whoever is your let them have the spotlight. Let them have the spotlight. Because by doing that, they'll be blind to the intentions that you're doing, right? It's not being deceptive, but it's giving them the power. They will never look at you like, oh, he's trying to get over on me, right? I'm never trying to get over my superiors. I promise you that. I'm just trying to better myself, right? And by doing so, I'm constantly taking different responsibilities that they can trust me with, because they understand that I'm never going to do anything, right? I'm not going to do anything to just fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Get off my boat. Nah. It's not even like that. I want to put myself on the chessboard too. That's it. I need to put my piece on this chessboard and dominate. however that means, right? And that doesn't mean just shoving you out the way, because I want to use you. I want to make sure I'm using you in the correct way too. If I can do better by myself, right? If I can do better by myself and get you a higher status too, I think I've done my job. So every day, one of my superiors walk in, I greet them with one of the most, yo, what's going on? Da 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 da. One person walks in, the man, the myth, the legend himself, and I dap him up. Boom. Playing the field. Playing the field because nobody else does it. Right? The man, the myth, the legend himself. Nobody else does it. What's going on? How you doing? What can I do for you? The first person to apply. And you can do this with anybody, right? Because you have your own intentions on the back end, right? Makes sense? So now when you think about it like that, right?
And then you say,
seems so innocent yet attention is headed. Exactly. It's hard for them to read it, right? They're just like, hey, he knows who the boss is, so let's, you know what I'm saying? Let's get to work. You know what I'm saying? And it gets to this point now where they're like, yeah, he's one of my favorites, right? I can trust him with anything in this shop to do what he wants to do. It's dangerous. It's a dangerous game, right? And you want to make sure you're doing the best that you can to not make sure you're making no mistakes. So if you gotta check yourself 1, 2, 3, 4 times over to make sure that whatever job they assign you was done and done correctly, you do that, right? Take the extra effort, do it, right? Whatever boss you have, make sure you do the job in completeness, and when you're done, you have the utmost confidence in yourself that the job is done. That's just how it is, right? Never outshine them, right? I told them, hey, I'm just telling them, literally, this is what I say, right? I literally tell him, I walk in, right? And I'm like, hey, what can I do for you, right? What can I do for you, right? I'm like the first one to go, right? Because I'm not it's easy to sit around and do nothing all day. How you do anything is how you do everything. I promise you that. How you do anything is how you do everything, right? So, right, by never outshining my master, they always see me as the person that, right, everybody gets mad at me because I have like a nonchalant tone, right? I'm very nonchalant when I'm at work because it's just work, bro. I'm there to work. That's it. I'm not here to lollygag and do all this other shit that y'all be doing. I'm here to do my job and better myself by doing my job. And in that sense, I'm finding a harmonic balance within myself and my workspace, right? Because when I'm nonchalant and I'm not really reacting to shit, the people around me, my coworkers, get upset. Not my superiors, right? My superiors don't care. My superiors really don't care, right? If I'm nonchalant and I'm chilling, I'm just reading my book and shit, whatever book I'm reading. You be like, why are you so mad? Why are you so mad? I'm like, who told you I was mad? Never said I was mad. They be hot for some reason. They be pressed just because I'm not involved in their surface dweller activities. I'm just chilling, bro. Minding my own business. Superiors would only care if the job ain't done, right? And I'm sitting on my ass being nonchalant, then it's a problem. But if the job is done and I'm sitting there and I'm chilling, elevating my mind. Exactly. Why are you pressing? I'm chilling and not out here acting like a bot. I'm chilling. I'm in my own world over here. I ain't messing with none of y'all, bro. Why you gotta come over here and mess with me? You want to throw these little shots and shit, and I'm just like, if I say something, it's gonna be mean, cause I don't even play none of that shit with y'all. That's what I'm telling you, bro. It's just like I don't even do that shit with none of y'all, for real. I don't do shit, none of y'all. So I eventually, right, I get to a point where, right, never outside your masters, right? We get that concept. Just let your superiors be the superiors, right? And when they walk in, it's like, yo, the man, the myth, hyping them up. Hey, we ready to knock the day out, right? And it's just like, one of my goals was like, hey, we trying to make him look good. You know what I'm saying? We trying to make him get a rank. You know what I'm saying? And that completely just blinds him. Blinds him. Cause if I say my intention is to get him to rank up, his ego's gonna be like, yeah, that's my boy. Get me to rank. I know you can do it. Check, mate. My superiors don't even have to worry about me no more because they're listening to what I'm saying. They're not. I wonder how he's playing this, right? They're not gonna do that. Simple, very simple. I'm just sliding my piece across the board. That's it, right? All right. Last law for the night, and then we're gonna go into this later, right? Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Well, you shouldn't really have enemies in the shop, right? Well, you're right. Right? We shouldn't really have enemies in my workspace, right? But there are always these personalities that are gonna clash like this just because of the personality types, right? I'm nonchalant, I'm chill, right? And I do my work. That's the biggest thing, right? The other day, I said this on stream before. These people try to place labels on you because they simply don't understand you. And that's a good thing, right? They're not, it's not their job to try to understand me. It's my job to understand myself at the end of the day, right? So I was sitting there. It's like, we have to be to work by 6:15 in the morning. I'm there by 5:45 and I'm already getting shit. Exactly. Because anything anybody in there really has to say, I don't care for because none of them provide any value to me, right? And that's not saying I'm not sitting here and telling them like, bro, well, I told them I don't like them. I've told them like straight up, I don't like y'all. That's why I don't hang out with y'all outside of work. And the one time I do is like every once in a while. I keep my business away from my job, respectfully. But I use my job in such a way that it enhances my mind and gains experience every single day. So when I come home and I reflect and I meditate, I can simply gain more knowledge and insight about how do I apply different things in my life. How do I apply something better in the workspace? Make sense, right? And you can do this in school, bro. With your teachers, with your, you know what I'm saying, with the administrative staff. Like you play the field. Exactly. I literally just call it my mental training ground, right? So I was coming to work and I'm there like 5:45 in the morning. And I'm already in the work and I'm busy and stuff like that. And they already laughing and giggling at 6 in the morning. I'm just like, bro, I'm here to do my job, bro. Why are you so mad? It's 6 o'clock in the morning. It's like, bro, I'm at work. Why do I have to be happy or sad that I'm at work? I'm just simply here. That's it. I'm not happy. I'm not sad. Why would I be mad? I'm just at work doing my job and I'm not playing into you guys' shenanigans. So why am I the target now? Because I'm not falling into the herd? You're attacking me because I don't want to be a part of the herd. Weird. Right? So, in a sense, I'm creating enemies on my own. Right? I'm creating the enemies. And in the law, the second law, it's saying create enemies. I can do that. People don't like you when you aren't one of them. Misery loves company. Misery loves company. I promise you. I can do good and bad on my own. I promise you. I can do good and bad on my own. I don't need y'all to do that. I don't need y'all to do that. Right? So, never put too much trust in your friends. Learn how to use enemies. I'm starting to create that space between me and my coworkers, right? They call me the asshole. They call me Kanye because I'm egotistical and I just don't give a fuck about what I say, right? I don't give a fuck. Do what you want to do. Whatever you say about me has no reflection on me as who I am because I know who I am. I know what I've been through. I know my own thoughts, morals, codes, and ethics and all that shit. Nobody is me. So how are you going to be the person? How are you going to be the person to tell me who I am? See how crazy that sounds? All right. Let's keep moving, right? Learn how to use enemies. Exactly. You only know work me.
Oh, goodness.
It doesn't make any sense, right? So let's keep going, right? So, never put too much trust in enemies. Learn how to use your enemy. Trust your fans. Learn how to use enemies, right? All right. Easy day shit right here. right? So when I get to this point, right, I'm sitting around. When I get to this second law, I get to this point, I'm like, I don't really see any. Boom, and it clicks in my mind. There's a problem child in our workspace. I like to call him the problem child, right? That's what I call him, the problem child. So I get to a point where I'm like, there's an opportunity to have power here. So I take him under my wing. Nobody wants to deal with this dude. He's literally like on the last straw of everything. And I take him under my wing. Now, he's dependent on me to get him where he needs to be as far as his qualifications. He's already on this last straw. So they put him in my position because I have such high standards for myself that they know. And now they're dependent on me to carry him to the promised land. Right? And by having him under my wing, I can transform him into a better man. Right? And by doing so, like within a week, right? Within a week, this was like months ago though, right? Within a week, they were like, he's doing way better up under you. I kid you not. Within a week, they was like, yeah, he's doing better up under you already. My job for him, right, is to make sure I get him to not shoot himself in the foot. That's his entire problem, right? He's got a surface dweller mindset, right? And I'm not trying to work him out of that, but I'm trying to get him to understand that some things you say you shouldn't be saying, and some things you're doing you shouldn't be doing. Right? If I can just get him to understand that and have a lick of consciousness, right? Just a tiny bit of consciousness, right? Like, hey, maybe what I'm doing isn't right. My job is complete. My job is complete because he probably doesn't even think like that right now. So I call him my little project, right? My little project of power, because if I can turn him into something decent, because at this point he's just a shitbag, right? But if I can turn him into something decent, something manageable, it speaks to my work ethic. It speaks on me. Never put too much trust in your friends. Learn how to use enemies. And that's the first 2 laws that I apply. That's just the first 2 laws. 46 more to go.
What did he say?
And I don't even have to read out of the book. I can literally apply these rules in my life in different areas. Right? It's that simple. I can literally, because when I step out of my room, when I step out of my house, I'm already ready to apply real work, this knowledge into something greater. I'm already ready. I'm ready to apply it and see how well I can apply it and how quick I can apply it. And that's just the first 2 laws. It gives me law number 2 gives me the responsibility, and I'm willing to take it because it gives me a chance to obtain more power. Am I manipulating anybody? No. Am I using him because he's on his last straw? Yeah. I'm trying to get him right. That's it. I'm just trying to get him right. And if I do that, then I fail. Right? But it's an experiment, right? To see how well I can get this kid to be. Exactly. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Hey, Icy, I appreciate you for sticking around, man. Big motherfucking W, man. You know this shit going on YouTube tomorrow. Fuck you talking about? I'm finna edit this shit and get it up there. It's your boy McLavishh. Hey, man. Icy, I appreciate you for coming through, Brody. W motherfucking stream. I appreciate you, man. Peace, prosperity, and power. Mind, body, and soul. death before dishonor. Speaking the truth, keeping the faith, and holding it the fuck down. And I see you soon inside the mind of McLavishh, applying the 48 laws of power, baby. We out this thing. We out this thing. We out this thing. Have a great night.